Okay, good evening, guys. I think we can begin the session. Hope my voice is audible. Okay, okay. So today's topics, try to cover as many topics as possible. So let us not waste much time. So continue with string functions, few more, right? Let's see few problems based on strings. Okay, and we'll see some problems based on arrays, 2D problems, pattern problem, how to solve. Then we'll explore data and time API because I've added some question based on date and time. Not much important, but you should know how to use this date and time API, right? If time permits, we'll see introduction to OOPS concepts, right? These are the today's agenda. Okay. Yeah. So before going to those topics, I just wanted to introduce there is a one more type of feature that is in Java compared to your C. So we call it as enhanced switch. Okay, enhanced switch. So it is a simplified version of your C switch statement, right? So this is similar, right? So what is the change we have is just like C, we mentioned the case one, but we don't use the colon. We use the arrow mark, right? Then arrow mark. Then there is no need of break statement. So you can suppose if the this particular statement should appear both for 3 and 4 option means you can separate them by comma operator, right? Suppose 3 comma 4. So you can execute and check once. So what is the output I'm getting? Error I'm getting here because what is the item code I mentioned here? 56. So let us make it as 4. Okay. So what is output I'm getting here? EC I'm getting because 3 and 4 both are for this particular statement. So please understand this is one more variant of your switch statement in Java. Okay. Hope you know this. So case 1, case 2, case 3, comma 4. Arrow mark you should use. No need of break statement. So we don't use break statement in enhanced switch. Okay. So it is by default compiler will take care of that. So this is one thing I wanted to just introduce. Right. There's one more important point that somebody asked me this one. So generally what happens is just like C, we face this issue in many problems when reading the input. So we should have a clarity in while reading the input. So just it's a simple example. So can anyone guess what is the output of this code? Just check this code. What is the possible output you will get for this? So you can just message, just observe the code once, try to check what will happen if I execute. Does it print any value or is there any error in this code? Anyone? So I'm not conducting quizzes like how I used to do in Python because there are a lot of topics to cover. So let us first learn all the topics. Then at the end of the sessions, last few weeks, so what I'll do is I'll conduct overall quiz, at least one or two quizzes I'll conduct, so that you can revise and see how much you learned in the these classes, right? Yes. So observe this question, this program. What is the output of this code? Anyone? int cannot be concatenated with string. Am I trying to concatenate here? No, right, Ashwant? Sonalika is telling error. Can you further elaborate what is the type of error? Is it an error or syntax error or logical error? Is anyone else? Yeah, logical error. Yes. So this is a common mistake students will do. So you should be careful while reading the inputs, right? So let us execute this. So what is the first data that I'm entering is integer, right? So I see dot next int. Then we are reading a string data. Then I'm trying to print the value. So let me print. So I'll enter 567. So let's press enter button. Okay. So are we getting the output here? No. So we are only getting a value, but string value we are not able to enter because this is the problem with in any language. So generally, when you read integer in first line and string in second line, right? So you need to add extra escape sequence, right? That is nothing but you just need to escape the new line character, right? So that is sc dot next line. That means you're just skipping that whatever the extra enter button you're pressing. So you have to just write sc dot next line. Okay. So what happens here is when you are pressing the enter button here, okay, so enter itself is considered as a string. So compiler is thinking enter button itself is a string because enter is nothing but a character, right? It is ASCII value. So it is thinking that enter button itself is a string. So it is not going for this line. It is stopping here only. Understood? So this you have to avoid means what you have to do, add extra sc dot next line after reading the integer if you are reading any other string. So please remember this point always, because in some questions you will be having the test cases like this: read integer value on first line, then read string value on the second line. So that time many students will face the problem here only. Okay, so you should be careful with this. So this one I wanted to just brush up so that nobody does this mistake. It's a silly mistake actually, but many students still don't do that. So you should be careful. So somebody told concatenation. So we are not concatenating here. We are just printing the value. A value we are printing on the same line. We are printing the string value. So let's execute this. So let us enter some number. So now we are not no, getting that problem. So if you see the A value is coming separately and string value is also coming separately. Okay. So this is one thing you should be very careful about, right? So I have few more topics in strings so that I can quickly cover. So I've already prepared the questions. So let us go through them one by one so that any doubt that you have, we can clarify, right? So these are all simple questions based on strings, which I asked you to explore. So few I'm covering in today's session, remaining whatever the string functions are there. So you should be knowing every one of them, right? So this is one thing that I asked you to remember. So let me increase the font size a little bit. Okay. So hope this code editor is visible. We should go to editor option. Yeah. I hope it's looking a little bit bigger. Okay. So what is index of function? So it returns the index within the string of the first occurrence of the specified substring, right? So basically, if you are trying to look for whether there is a string called as training within the given another string, so what will be the output of this code? It returns the index of that particular starting string, right? So what is out we are getting 13. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it returns the first character that is starting with the training T. So that index it returns. So you should know all this. Similarly, we have something called as matches, right? So this is basically regular expression. So you can combine your regular expression with the matches function. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm reading an input string, right? Then that string dot matches with this regular expression, right? So what is this regular expression? I'm trying to check whether the string contains any alphabetical character. So if it contains the boolean value we am storing in is match, if it is true we will get the output as true, right? So grit 1 2 3 4, right? So why I'm getting the output as false? Because the string should only contain the alphabetical characters, that is a to z to small a to z to capital S Z. Then the plus indicates what? One or more characters. One or more characters. So anything apart from the alphabets, if the string contains, the return value will be false. So these are all some important functions that you should be knowing. Okay. Then there is one more function called as replace first. Replace first. So I already told you to go through. I'm just finding and explaining the simple questions there. Suppose if you want to replace, enter the word to replace. So what do you want to replace here? For example, I want to replace Java. I want to replace with Python, right? So this is called as replace function. I think even in Python also, you learn these functions, right? Okay. So let me enter. I want to enter the word which is having a repeated sentence, right? So this is Java programming, Java. So suppose I want to replace Java. So what it is replacing, only the first occurrence it is replacing. So it is not replacing both, right? Suppose if you want to replace both, there is a function called as replace all, right? So you can remove this contains dot, right? So you can use replace all. Again, what do you have to pass to this regular expression to which the string has to be matched? Replace the string to be substituted for each match, right? So you can understand that. So you have to give the regular expression. Suppose replace with something else, right? So first, what you have to give? Parameters, regular expression to which the string is to be matched. Then the replacement, that string to be substituted for each match. So here I will give Java. Here I will give Python. Right? So in this case, directly I'm able to remove both the strings, right? So at both the places you can remove. So this is a replace all function. So you might need these functions in certain cases. Then obviously how to split the given, sentence into to separate words, right? So you can use sentence dot split just like how we used in the Python, right? So even Java supports split function, right? Based on space. So sentence dot split, just empty space you have to give so that it tries to split the given sentence in terms of different words based on the space. Then in the last session, what we conducted, right? The sum of digits in the given string. For example, this you have also solved in the Python basically. So suppose if I'm entering the string with the words, right? For example, this is Java 123 programming 456, right? So what I'm getting the output, this is different compared to what you solved in the Moodle. In Moodle, I'm giving the separate number, but here the string contains the number. So we are extracting the numbers from the string, then we are adding them. So 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4 plus 5 plus 6. So we are finding basically sum of digits from the given entire string, right? So basically, if it is a combination of both numbers as well as string. So let us try to enter only numbers, for example, like this. Still you should get the same output because these are nothing but numbers from the given string. Though you have spaces, so you are extracting each character inbuilt, right? One by one. So how to do this particular kind of programs? So you should know all the inbuilt functions for this. So obviously you should read the data in the input in the next line, right? Sum we have initialized to 0, then input dot length. See, this length method is very carefully you should use. Suppose if you are using it with arrays, suppose there is an array. So if you want to find out the length of the array, just you can mention the array name dot length, but there you should not use double brackets. So for array, you should have just use length. For string, you have to use two brackets. So these syntactical differences you should observe carefully. Okay. So input dot length for string, right? Then what we are doing, we are extracting the each character, right? Each character from the given string. Then we are checking if it is a digit or not. So there is an inbuilt function. So if the entered character is a digit means what we have to do. So if the entered character is a digit, obviously we have to convert that into integer, right? So we have learned about this particular syntax, character dot get numeric value. So this will extract the numerical value from that particular string, and then when that is getting converted into integer, then we are doing sum equal to sum plus digit. So it's a simple program, but still many people are not able to do this kind of programs when I saw them doing the practice, right? So please give careful attention to the basics. Okay. Now sometimes they will ask the input like this. For example, they will tell enter your name and age separated by space. For example, ACK, I'm 24, right? Suppose this is the data you have to enter both on the same line. So in this case, obviously, you have to read the data in the form of scanner dot next line, correct? But once you read it, you have to split them. This has to be a separate string. This has to be a separate integer, right? So basically, you have to extract the information from that particular input line. So again, you have to use the split function, input dot split separated by space. Then you are storing that whatever the data that you have splitted into the array, right? So for example, I'm calling that array name as string of parts. Then what you have to do, what I'm trying to do here, why I'm doing like this, why I'm extracting parts of 0 and parts of 1, because see here, what if your name contains first name and last name? For example, Revant Reddy, right? Then age 45. So what if your name contains first name and last name separated by space? So in that case also it has to be extracted and stored in a array, right? In a separate string, right? So basically I'm giving parts of 0 and parts of 1 and joining them. So basically these two are separated by space, right? So string dot join. whatever the strings are there in the given sentence that separated by space, we are combining them into one particular string. Then where is your third data? That is this. This is at second location, zeros, and first location we have first name and last name. So when the input formats are like this, you should be carefully knowing how to use the inbuilt functions to do this job, right? So string.join you have to use, join parts of 0 and parts of 1 together and store it in the name. Then you are printing the data as it is using out.printf. Here I'm using printf, correct? So all these are basic functions, string functions that you should be able to apply as and when required. Then this I already told you. So there is an inbuilt function called as toChar array. So what does it do? It converts the given string into new character array, right? Suppose if you're entering the data in the format of string, scanner.next line, then you might want to access each character separately. Okay. In that case, what do you do? What you need to do if you want to extract each character separately? So you have to convert that string into character array. So advantage of this is you need not to convert every character separately by using typecasting. So at a time you are trying to convert them without worrying about each individual character that you need to convert. Then once you converted that into character array, what is this loop is called as enhanced loop, right? Last class I told you enhanced loop, right? So this C indicates what? Is it a character or is it an index? Can anyone tell me? What does C indicate here? So this is the confusing part in the Java. So some many people still, if I ask, they will tell, sir, C is an index. C is not an index. Yes, very good. So C is a character from the character array. So we are extracting each character from the character array. So let us try to print them. GRIT college, right? So this is the string I'm entering. So now how the data is printed? Separated by space, right? So each values are separated by space. So basically we converted this string into character array, right? Now you can extract each of them and try to do the other operations if it is needed. So these are all the functions that you have to use so that your foundations will be strong, right? Somebody told about string tokenizer in the last session. Okay, so I'm just giving the basic example how the string tokenizer can be used. So what is string tokenizer, right? The string tokenizer class allows an application to break string into tokens, right? So basically they are called as tokens. Whatever the extracted strings that you are getting, they are called as tokens. So here what we are doing, creating a string tokenizer object, st, then we are passing two strings into that. Then there is a inbuilt function again, st dot has more tokens. So test if there are more tokens available from this tokenizer string. So if there are tokens in the string, it will fetch them and it will print, right? As long as there are tokens. So it is similar to your has next int, right? What we did in the last session, has next int. Now the confusing part is, can anyone tell me why I'm getting the output like this? GRI and T. So can anyone tell me what is happening? So please give careful attention to the parameters. So what is a parameter that string tokenizer accepts? It accepts a string to be parsed, delimiter, the delimiters it will accept. So what is the mistake in this code? Is there any mistake in this code? If it is so, what is the mistake and how to rectify that mistake? Anyone? Why I'm getting the output like this? GRI only. Yeah, anyone? Second parameter should be delimiter. Very good. So what do you want me to replace that with? E is present in hello since it is delimiter. Okay, null. So a lot of students are giving different answers. So this kind of output you should be able to understand by yourself, right? So can anyone tell me? Yeah. So I'm trying to use string delimiter string, but which is not found. So that is the correct answer. So let me use something like, E. Still, I'm getting the same answer. So how will you print the GRIT? So shall I just give GRIT? Does it work? Convert the input strings. Yeah. So now is it working? So by default, what is the delimiter? Suppose if I don't enter here, what happens? So you have to create a constructor, right? Space. Okay. Right. So by default, even though you don't write this, by default, whatever the elements are there, that has to be separated by space. So can I add few more values like this? Does it work? Suppose. So now am I getting? So each string is extracted separately based on the space. So first parameter, see, that's what you should have clarity on. What are the parameters? So string tokenizer will accept only two parameters. One is string, another is a delimiter. So that means you can't combine multiple parameters separated by space, or separated by comma, right? Suppose if I write like this, so what is the error I'm getting? Remove redundant arguments to call string tokenizer. So here you can get the idea. Provided string, see, it accepts only two values. One, both of them are string, but one is the main string, another is a delimiter. So please give attention to this kind of syntaxes. Okay. So you can use string tokenizer also as and when required, but personally I don't use this because there are other alternatives which I'm comfortable using apart from string tokenizer. So basically we are extracting the each string from the given sentence using string tokenizer. Okay, so please explore more problems how you can use this based on your requirement. So you'll get much clarity. Then this also already we discussed many times. So what we are trying to do, are we trying to convert it into string or are we trying to convert it back to the integer? What is output you're getting here? Converting integer to string. Yes. So this is also very important function. So those who are very good in basics of Java, they will always use this function as and when required to match the output. So when I convert this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into string, suppose let us write here instead of plus hello, write 1, 2, 3. What will be the output? Tell me, anyone? Or we will add plus 10. Will it be 12, 3, 5, 5? 12, 3, 5, 5? Yeah, good. Right? So output will be 12, 3, 4, 5, 10. Because right now, after converting, this is acting like a string. It is not number anymore. So let us comment line this. Now you can see the output is 12355 because we are trying to add an integer with another integer, right? So this is important. You should know how to do the type conversion. Then this trim method is also very important. Please use this trim method as and when required, because sometimes in your test cases there will be extra white spaces unnecessary. They will create the test cases like that, so that one or the two hidden test cases may not match, right? For example, trim method, very important method, right? So if you don't trim this extra white spaces and try to print that string as it is, you will get whatever the original string is, you will get as it is with the spaces, extra spaces. But if you try to do the trim, so what does trim do? Returns a string whose value in the string with all leading and trailing white spaces removed. Okay, so it removes all the extra unnecessary spaces. So whether it is leading or trailing, it will remove it. Then what we are trying to check, so if str1.trim.length is not equal to str2.trim.length. So generally, please use this trim method whenever in certain problems, if you are trying to compare the two strings, because in the hidden test cases, they unnecessarily, or just to make the code complicated, they might have added extra spaces, right? So this is carefully you should use this whenever you are operating with the strings, right? So sometimes it may not be required, but generally I'm telling you. So you have to trim the extra white spaces, then you are comparing. Suppose without trimming them, suppose let me not trim them. So str1 I didn't trim, but str2 I'm trimming. So let me run this. So now what is the output I'm getting? Strings are not same, because the first string is having the extra spaces here, whereas the second string we have removed this, but still these extra spaces are not matching, right? So it's always better to trim the strings before comparing, right? Whether you are comparing length or character, so it's always better to remove the extra white spaces. So these are the few of the string basics of the strings that you should be knowing. Now I'll just give you one question. Based on that, you can suggest me what would be the possible operation. So let us learn the problems. Now there is a question here, right? So what is this reverse using plus? So there is a string. Suppose if the string is grit, I want it. I want you guys to reverse it. T-E-I-R-G. So I want to get the output like this. So this can be in a simple way, could be done using plus operator. Correct? Plus operator. So what is the possible way? Can anyone suggest me? So think about 2 minutes how to do a reverse without using any inbuilt function. Sometimes if that is the criteria, they will put the restriction. Don't use any inbuilt function. Don't use reverse function. Left concatenation. Very good. Concatenation. Converting them into character and using for loop to write them one by one. Yes. So left concatenation is the exact term. This is the, again, in detail explanation. So you should have idea about these things. Those who are practicing properly, they will be knowing them. But everyone should be able to find this techniques, shortcuts, right? Optimization approaches. So what is that you have to do? We also call it as pre-pending operation. Okay, pre-pending operation. So what we have done here is there is a string called as grit. Then initially there is an empty string which I have assigned empty value res. Then printing original string. Then as long as there are characters in the first string, so we have to use string1 dot length, right? Then what we are doing here in this line, so that is what left concatenation. Somebody suggested, right? Left concatenation. Okay. So what we are doing is extracting each character from the string str1 dot character 8 str1 dot character 8 of I. From each character we are extracting from the string, then doing plus with the result. So this is called as left concatenation. Suppose, so if grit is the input, what happens first stage, G will be appended to the result. Then when you are extracting R, for the existing result, you are doing the concatenation. So you are basically plus R you are doing, correct? Then again plus I you are doing, plus E, plus T. So in that way, you are reversing the string without using any inbuilt function. correct? So this is also sometimes very necessary because they will put the restrictions. Don't use any inbuilt function. That time you should know these different techniques, how to do it without using the existing functions. Okay. Ah, now there is one more important question that, as I told you, it's been already asked in the product batch exam recently. Okay. So just think about this question. Give me suggestions. Right? String rotation. String rotation. Right? Suppose if grit, is it same as your reversing? No. Suppose if grit is the first string, and if there is any other string, for example, et, or you can start from I, et, gr. Okay. So what is the question was, if there is an existing string grit and there is another string called as itgr. So the question was very simple. Can you get a original string? I mean, can you get this rotated string by altering the bit positions of the original string? That was the question. Suppose if the another example, if you want me to take, if grit is the first string, suppose I'll give the data like this: g I t e r. Okay. Now this is your original string. This is your rotated string. So if you alter the string, or if you rotate the string, if you rotate string in any way, will you be able to get the rotated string? So write down these two strings. Tell me what will be the, can we, so you can just give me the answer true or false. Whether is it true or false, and similarly whether it is true or false. Correct. So can we get the this rotated string by altering this particular main string in first test case? In the second test case, same string I am giving grit, and a rotated string I am giving giter. So can we rotate this particular string, not alter? So alter is different, rotate is different. If you rotate this particular string in any way, will you get this giter? So this is the question, right? The first one is true, two times left rotation. Yes. One true, two false. First we can, but second no. Yeah. So understood now. So these are simple questions. Sometimes students will get confused. So rotation, some people have applied. Alteration, some people have applied. So just a simple question, they wasted almost 20-30 minutes. So only those who know basics, foundation of strings, they could do it within 2 lines, right? So this question, again, product by students only told me. Within 2 minutes, I asked them, what is the solution you applied? Within 2 minutes, they told me because they know the proper foundation of strings, right? So how to do this in a simple step, right? So I asked you to go through the contains function in the last session, right? There is a function called as contains. So first thing that we have to do is, obviously they gave one more test case. Suppose if grit is the first string, and if the rotated string is something like this, p I E R G T T. So in this case, what is happening is second rotated string is having more character than the first string. So first job, your job is to check the whether both the strings are equal or not in terms of length. So obviously, if they are not equal, immediately you can return false, right? So because they asked only to write this function. So please understand, in most of the lead code or hacker rank, they will not ask you to implement full question. They will only ask you to implement certain function. So you should know what to return, what should be the return type, how many parameter that function is accepting. So you should have a clarity on that. Okay. So in this case, two parameters it is taking. One is original string, another is a rotated string. So immediately you have to first check the length. So if the length is not same, you can stop the program there itself. And if the length is same, then you can continue. So what we are doing here, just two line code. So string result equal to s plus s, right? So what we did here is, suppose original string is grit, rotated string is rietg. Now what we do here is we concatenate both of them. So concatenated result is what? Grit rietg. Now we have updated the resultant string by concatenating the original string and the rotated string. Correct? So our resultant string became this one. Now simply people will apply contains function. So what is the job of contains function? You should be having a clarity. So basically we are checking whether the original string, I mean the resultant string, whatever the resultant string, that is this one, contains this particular goal string. What is our goal string? This one, RITGA, in any particular order. So obviously you see this particular result string contains RITG from this position. That means it will return the answer as true because it is there, right? So contains function, you should understand how does it work. Okay, so contains, what does it return? It returns true if and only if this string contains a specified sequence of character values, right? So it accepts only one parameter. So how many parameter? Only one parameter. The sequence to search for, it returns true if the string contains the what you are searching for, or else it returns false, right? It's a simple line code. Only few people could able to do this, or they tried very big logic. They were getting TLE error. Okay, what error they were getting? TLE, time complexity exceeded error, because the input that you have to read is string, right? Yeah, it is doubling the string. Basically we are concatenating uh, rotated string with the original string. So rotated string becomes part of the original string. So you can take any other example. Suppose I'm taking only RSEN, right? RSEN. Now what we are doing? Concatenating. So when I concatenate, what happens? R symbol concatenated with RSEN. Now when we use contains function, right? We are using contains function, right? So what is that we are writing? Result dot contains, what is our goal string? Rotated string, right? That is RACN. So we are trying to check whether this resultant string contains RACN in any location. So where is that location, right? So it is here, right? Goal string is here. So obviously it is part of your main string, right? So obviously it will return true as the answer in any order. So this is a simple question. Very few people were able to do. So sometimes question will be simple, but logically, when we think, what we have to first think about is, can I apply any inbuilt function on it, right? Inbuilt string function, right, on the data, right? If it is possible, you can go with it. Otherwise, you can apply your brute force approach, right? Or you can try with brute force approach first. Then if you get TL error, if you get TL error, then think about whether I can optimize it further using inbuilt functions, right? So this is the way you should try to solve. So if you are good at writing any code, right? If you are good at writing brute force approach, right? What is your next step? Next goal is improvising it to be get optimized. So those who are able to write any random code, whatever they are able to understand, check whether it is the best optimized code or not in terms of time complexity and space complexity. So this is a very important instruction I'm giving you. So don't read some random code as long as it is an optimized one. So you can refer whatever you want to. There is no stopping for that. But are you understanding? Are you optimizing it further? Are you able to apply that knowledge during the exam? That becomes very important step, right? So whatever the example you are learning, whatever the functions that you are learning, make sure that whether it is optimized or not, you have to verify, because that is the next, 10 years. That is how the people are looking for. So if you are good at writing the code, that is not going to be good enough. So you have to be writing the optimized code. So recently, what is brute force approach? Yeah. So brute force approach means you don't think about anything. You'll just keep on writing whatever that comes to your mind. For example, I'll give one example for that because you asked Ahmad. This is an important question you asked me. I'll take one example and I'll try to teach that in today's session. Okay. Basically, suppose if there is a problem, and in that problem you are using nested loop or two three loops to just match the test case, one or two test case. Now what happens is that may match the basic test case, but it won't match the all the test case, because uh, if you want to match all the test cases, again there will be a time complexity issue. So basically, if you ask me, brute force approach means you, whatever that comes to your mind, you will write. You don't worry about whether it is a best code or optimized code. First step is you have to write whatever code you are able to write. Then you have to try to think, am I using unnecessary loop? Am I using unnecessary statements? Am I complicating the code unnecessarily? Right? That is the thing. So this thinking about optimization won't come in one day, because even when I used to learn, there is no concept of optimization. All that I know is understanding the code, writing some random code. Now even I am learning every day. So if you ask me, even I am getting better on that every day. So I'm still not best, but I'm still exploring. So you should become a good learner. Basically, whatever people are able to write the code. So I refer YouTube videos, right? There are a lot of channels, right? So I refer YouTube videos. I'll check how they are thinking the same code in different way, how they are optimizing it. Optimize means basically how to reduce the time complexity. Suppose if your program is taking O of n square, you have to able to do the same program in O of n, right? Suppose if it is taking O of n log n, again, though it is good, but still if the constraint is O of n, you have to reduce this O of n log n to O of n, right? So please give attention to this time complexity. That is the next stage, right? So people who are able to write the good code, they are able to get the job, but they are not able to go to the higher packages, because lot of constraints, lot of extra conditions will be there. So our job is to learn in a way that matches all the test cases, and whether I am able to understand how this optimization techniques work. So just to give you a simple example, today I'll give you this task. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you have holiday, right? You can explore that. So how many of you know prime number logic? How do you find the prime number? Prime numbers in C or in Java, right? Okay. What is a general approach? So let us see here, prime number between the given range. So prime number is a very important technique. Please always learn different mechanisms that you can learn in the prime number. Very important question. See, so suppose this is some random code that you are learning online, for example, right? So this is coming from the command line. So they are using A to I, no problem. But you see what they are doing? Starting from n plus 1, count is initialized to 0, j equal to 2 to I by 2. If I mod j equal to 0, count plus plus, right? So basically they are doing sum of prime numbers, I think. So find prime numbers within the range. Programs to find prime numbers in a range using loop. So basically these are random questions that you are learning. But whether it is optimized or not, that is our next learning. So for that we have a lot of algorithms, right? So C of Eratosthenes. This is the algorithm. So most of us wouldn't be knowing this. Those who don't know, please explore this. So what is the C of Eratosthenes? It is a very ancient algorithm for finding all the prime numbers up to any given limit. And what is the time complexity? Right? So see, what is the time complexity? O of n into log of log n, right? This is the time complexity of prime number if you try to use it using C of Forrester, right? It also called as optimization technique, common optimization techniques, right? But if you try to use normal approach, your time complexity will go up to n square. So obviously, which is better? N square is better or n into n log n is better? So obviously, this is better, right? So for a bigger range of prime numbers, you should always try to see which approach is giving you the less time complexity. So if you just type on Google, CEO of Eratosthenes, go to Wikipedia page. Can you see this image? So 2 minutes, observe the image. What is happening in the image? Just tell me. Okay, so just observe. I just wanted to show you your first year program. Okay, just observe the screen just for 2 minutes. What is happening? Can anyone tell me? Bars are displaying in different color. Very good answer, Shruti. Nice answer. If I don't know the colors. Okay. So we are getting some nice answers, right? So you understood the process. By seeing the diagram, most of you understood the process, right? So we start with the 2, then we remove all the multiples of 2, because if the number is a prime number, right? So obviously, if the number is not a prime number, obviously all its multiples are also not prime numbers, correct? So start with 2, we will remove all the multiples of 2 so that they cannot become prime numbers, right? Because it is divisible by 2. Similarly, we start with 3, we start with 4. Then if the number is already removed, and if it is again divisible by no, another number. For example, you take what you can take is Suppose 18 is there. See, 18 is already marked as, or 18 is already removed by 2. Once again, if 3 is trying to find out all its multiples of 3, 18 we won't consider because it is already removed. So you are saving some time, right? So in this way, what is happening is for every number, we're trying to remove its corresponding multiples. And when we go for the next number, the number of iterations are reducing for each iteration because they are already removed from the array, right? So in this way, your job becomes much easier. So what this particular diagram you are understanding is we are trying to find out the range of prime numbers from 2 to 120. So whatever the numbers that remain as it is, whichever the numbers that don't have colors, they are called as the prime numbers at the end of the iteration. Okay. So this is called as CEO of Ferrari algorithm, most optimized algorithm. So you don't have anything beyond this. This is the maximum you can optimize. Okay. There is no other option apart from this. So here, if you go through the logic, algorithm is there. Those who want to try this program, you can try. Uh, so what is that? So pseudocode. What is the technique? Let A be an array of Boolean values indexed by integer 2 to n. So what we have to make is, initially we have to set all the array elements as true. So there is a function for that also. Suppose array dot fill, right? True. So initially there is a whatever array if it is, you have to make that array as true. That means all the elements are initially considered as true. Then we start with 2. Then we go up to square root of n, right? Then we check if the a of I is true. If a of I is true means initially what is the number 2. So if the 2 is already assigned as true value means we'll try to find out all square root of, right, that 2, right? Then we make that particular number as false if it is a perfect square, right? If it is a perfect square, we make them false. In that way, we keep on looping. So the time complexity reduces from O of n square to log n into n log n. So these kind of techniques we have to explore. So finding this optimization technique itself is a big task. So you should be able to explore what is the alternative technique for whatever you are learning. What is the optimized technique for the topic that you already learned. So you can't stick to your one way of one dimensional way of the learning. You should be always eager to learn in a way that can I further improvise it? Can I further reduce the time complexity? So that is the good way. And the most important is people are exploring but they are not able to understand the logic, right? So this logic today you understood, but are you confidently able to write the code? That is important. So during the examinations, whatever the logic you are learning, you should be in a position to write it. You will be able to write it only when you understand it, correct? So if you understand the technique, definitely one or two errors also if you get, you will be immediately able to solve by yourself. So in that way you will be able to learn the optimization techniques easily because you are very good in foundation. So that's why I'm telling you, if you people are good in code basics of C language, your next step is to explore optimization techniques. Okay. So that again, when you come for training, there are a lot of techniques for that. People will teach you that. Okay. So you need not worry. But before we start, your job is to learn in that process. Understood? So in that way, people need to explore the content, whatever you are referring. So this is one such program which many people couldn't do it because of not thinking about the optimization technique. Right. Now this is one more question which I wanted to tell you. Digit sum. This question even your third year student couldn't do. The reason is the input constraint. So what is the constraint? One is less than equal to length of n less than equal to 10 power 3. So what they're telling is the input number can go up to 1000 digit. Suppose if I start writing from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, it can go up to 1000 digit. So obviously no data type supports 1000 digit, right? So even if you are using big integer also, it depends on the memory. Suppose if their memory capacity is only 4 GB, even big integer cannot save you, right? Suppose if that 1000 digit is crossing this 4 GB RAM, so even that big integer also cannot save from the time limited exceeded error. So what is the shortcut for that? You have to read the input number as a string. Okay, input number as a string. So you have to read the input number as a string. So irrespective of how many digits are there, suppose if it is 10 power 3 also, you need not to worry, because you are reading the input number as a string like this. So once you read the input number as a string, what you have to do, basically it is a digit sum. It is a digit sum question. So you are entering number only. Suppose if I give the number like this, 4, 5, 7, 8. What is the output of this? Digit sum. I'm talking about digit sum, not the integer sum of the character, right? Digit sum I'm talking. So what is 4, 5, 7, 8? 4 plus 5 is 9, right? 9 plus 7 is how much? So basically we are summing the 18, 16, then 16 plus 8, 24, like this. So we are basically doing the basic program what we already learned, right? 4, 5, 7, 8. We are extracting each digit and summing them, correct? But this you can't use whatever the approach that you already learned, correct? So what is the way to avoid the TLE error? So we have to avoid the TLE error, time complexity exceeded error, right? So we have to read the number as a string, then go up to the length of the string, convert each, again convert each number into character, character dot get numeric value, n dot character rate of 5. So basically what is happening here? Does it work? So 4, 5, 7, 8. So I'm getting the answer as 24. What about double digits? What do you mean by double digits? Okay. So I'm just talking about the input length. Okay. So I don't know what you're asking. So if you use numerical value, you get Unicode. I already told you, right? Unicode it will return. So if you want to again return the original value, so in string, if there is 99 character, no. That's why we are using this syntax. You will extract 9 and 9. You can check it. So that question again becomes separate, Arjit Reddy. What you are asking me, I understood. So what you want to do is, if the input number itself is 99, right? So that was not the question. Question was something like this. It can be as big as possible. See, I'm entering so many numbers. What is the output I'm getting? 415, correct? So irrespective of what is your input length is, you have to sum each digit. This was the question. So if the test case contains this much big number, means even your big integer cannot save you. So the only option is read the data as a string and extract each character and convert that into integer. So for that, you have to do all this process. First, you have to convert that string into character using character dot, then n dot character rate, then convert that into get numerical value. So what does it return? So see here, if you highlight on this, returns the int value that the specific Unicode character represents. So this I already clarified you. So example, if there is a character ch equal to g, then if I want to convert that into, or if I want to take some other variable, int is equal to character dot get numeric value ch. So what I'm getting here? sorry, this one. I'm getting 16, right? Why I'm getting 16? Because this G is not a number. G is a character. So get numeric value will work for integer. It will return as it is. Suppose if 1 is the character, it will return 1 only. 2 is a character, it will return 2 only, right? But if there is any other number apart from this 0 to 9, so if G is not a number, right? It's a character alphabet. So if you're trying to extract numerical value from this G, what you get is Unicode. So what is the Unicode of G? 16. So I was just last time only I told you what is the Unicode. Unicode characters in Java. Right. So please explore this. You'll get to know. You just need to find out table out of it. From that you can understand. Again, if you see this, the you are finding the ASCII value, right? But if you see the IDs, in the IDs, they store the data in terms of Unicode, right? So you can see the Unicode character. So what is the message? If the character does not have a numerical value, then -1 returned. If the character is numerical value that cannot be represented as a non-negative integer, then -2 is returned, right? So it cannot handle supplementary characters. So that means if you are, this is a supplementary character actually. That means G cannot be converted to integer. It returns the Unicode value of G, which is 16. So this is one more way for that, which you can, some people follow this also, right? So this is the, if you can't remember this technique, character dot get numeric, simple thing you can do. You can use this approach also, which I have comment line. Integer dot parse int. So what, can anyone tell me what is this meaning of this? So I'll have comment line this. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of this? String to int. So last class I told you what does the parse int accepts, the parameter of parse int. So parse int accepts only string. Okay. So you have to pass string to it. Now, since you are extracting the character, each character you are extracting from the given number, right? So n dot character of I. So n is your string name. N dot character at I. What is this plus equal to space does? It converts the, again, that character into string basically. Suppose your input is like this. First, what we do? Extract 3, then convert into string, because we have to parse into only accept string data. So when we convert that into string, so how to convert that into string? Just add space. Just add space with the character. So if you add space with the character, it becomes the string, right? Then you can pass this entire data to parseInt. So parseInt will convert that character, whatever which you converted to string, into integer. So this is another way. So if you can understand this, you can follow this. If you can understand this, you can follow this. So some students will follow this kind of technique also. So a lot of different ways will be there in Java. So whatever you are able to understand, you can apply it. Okay. This is one important question, because though it looks easy, people won't give attention to the constraint, correct or not? So depending upon the length of the input, you have to understand what technique I have to apply. So in simple terms, if I want to tell you, correct, if the number range exceeds 10 power 19, then better to read input as string, then convert to integer, right? each character. Otherwise, you can use big integer also. Big integer also works. Conditions apply for this because conditions apply means what I mean by conditions apply. If big integer can work within the given RAM capacity, then you can use this. You can use big integer, right? So depends on what are the constraints. So you can try the same problem. You can try the same problem using big integer. So I won't add this in Moodle, but you can try this. All these questions I'll update in Moodle. So just keep checking whatever the questions I'm adding because I'll be busy whole week. Only 1 or 2 days I'll get free time. But in that free time only, I'll be adding the questions. So just check whatever the new questions that are visible in the Moodle. Explore that. See, advantage is in Moodle, you will be able to understand simple questions in better way. Then when you approach any other problem, then you will get a much clarity. So you have to do both simultaneously. Don't only do outside questions or only do Moodle questions. You have to do both parallelly, right? But advantage of solving Moodle question is your foundations will become strong. So please give importance to that. And CRs, please inform in your sections. We are going to remove the students who are not active from past 2 weeks. By Monday, we will remove all the students who are not active from past 2 weeks. So almost 600 students will be removed from Moodle Java course because we don't want to waste our time and our memory capacity for these people who are not using at all Moodle. So by Monday, we will remove 600 students minimum who are not at all access the Moodle. So this in that way it becomes we can understand those students who are regularly doing the coding in Moodle as well as online. We can give more attention to those students, right? So those who are serious only can go to the next level. Otherwise, it's unnecessary waste of time. What does integer parse int method do? I explained this already, right? What does it do? Parses the string argument as a signed decimal integer. So it converts basically string argument to the integer argument. So whatever the data that you want to convert into integer format, it will convert it, right? So it can a string containing the int representation to be passed. So sometimes what happens is your integer will be like this 123. So when you have a double quotes for a given number, so what does it mean? It is not an integer, it is a string. So this string has to be converted back to integer means, so you have to use integer dot parseInt. So this one will do the conversion of string to integer. Not only parseInt, you have parse long, parse string, right? So you can use any inbuilt variables, inbuilt functions that you are able to apply for the given code. Okay. So let us solve. Let me give you one question. Now, again, this was the question which was asked in the previous product batch exam. What is this? So I want you guys to just tell me the approach that you can, how to do the problems. Okay, thank you for reminding. I'll just cover that topic. Okay, so the question is duplicate number, correct? Find the duplicate number in a given array. Suppose if the array is like this, 3, 4, 3, 5, 4, whatever, 5, 1. So which number is duplicated? 5 is duplicated, correct? So you have to return the duplicated number as 5. Condition is only one number is duplicated. So you don't have multiple duplicated numbers, only one number is duplicated. So this is the given question, right? So can anyone tell me what is the approach you will follow? I don't want code. I just want to see your idea. So then once you are able to give some idea, then we will give some hints how to approach this. Hmm. Yes, contains. So use XOR operator, it will give the answer. Okay, correct. Checking each number with another number. Yeah. So XOR, I think some people have tried this already. Ankit, that's tried, I think. Contains. Preeti, I don't know how you use this. If you solve this, you can discuss with me personally what is the approach you are following. Okay. Checking each number with another number by doing subtraction. Okay. So this is the general approach that people follow, right? Okay. Sort the array and check next A of I. We can sort the array and compare the adjacent elements if they are equal. Okay. What if C again? Sometimes they will hide the sorting library also. That means you can't use the inbuilt sort library. Sort the array and check the next A of I. So personally, what I followed the technique is this one. Whatever Gayatri has suggested. Count the frequency. If it two, then break. Okay. This is also one method, right? So generally, these two we can use, right? So you can subtract the given number from the main number, right? So then you will get to know what is the number that is duplicated. So try to do think about this question. Please refer my previous video, Santosh. I think I've discussed enough about as next int and next int. You can see in YouTube. I have already sessions available there. As next int and next int in detail I've covered. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Just a minute. Let me just put for charge. So, Santosh, you can explore my videos. If you still don't understand, please come and meet me personally in TNPCL. I'll give you clarity. Okay? Because it's already covered, I don't want to repeat the topic in the session. So I'll add this question, duplicate number in Moodle. So whatever approach you guys want to solve, try to solve it. Then in the coming session, we will discuss who use the best possible approach. And also please understand time complexity. So whose code is following the best time complexity value that is possible. So obviously time complexity means it has to be less only. Suppose if it is taking n square, you have to reduce it to n. So you know that in data structure, you already learned it, order of growth. So what is the order of growth? N log n, n log n, right? Then n square, n cube, what else? 2 power n, then n factorial, correct? So you should always try to go in this direction, not in this direction, correct? This you should not never do it, right? So if your code is taking n cube, you should try to reduce it to n square. Then you should think if further it is still possible to reduce it to n log n, right? So obviously some questions you can maximum reach up to n log n, you may not be able to go to log n. So it depends on the logic. Suppose some questions n square is the maximum, minimum time complexity is n square. So in that case, you need not to worry about further reducing it. So reducing time complexity means it depends on the question. So if that question minimum it takes n square means you have to use n square only. There is no way to reduce that. For example, if there is a matrix multiplication, obviously for matrix multiplication, how many loops you require to enter the elements? Two loops. For summing, you require three loops. So obviously, in that case, you need not to worry about further reducing it because you can't do it. You require three loops. One will iterate the rows, one will iterate the columns, another will iterate the second matrix rows so that you can sum each row and column one by one. So that is minimum n square. You will get it anyway. So don't get confused with the time complexity. So reducing time complexity means it depends on the question. So if the question minimum time complexity, if it takes n square means you need not to do anything. You just let it be as it is. If they mention it can be further reduced to O of n, then you have to think, okay, if it is possible to reduce, let me explore, let me try different methodology. So you should think in that way, then only your foundations will be strong. So some people will get confused. uh, they they think every question has to be converted to O of n or O of log n. So not like that, it depends on the question. Okay, right? So duplicate number, string rotation, all these are important questions. I'll try to upload in Moodle. So please execute them whenever you. So every day, randomly, you should open Moodle and check, because I won't give you guarantee on what day I'm adding, because you see a lot of courses I'm taking, a lot of content I'm making, because it's not a easy work. So what I'm trying to do here is, right, Python, Java, right? So right now I'm in Java actually, but today we were handling Python content, and for reverse lateral entry, CNDS, a lot of things I'll be doing. So only when I get free time, I'll sit and upload the questions. So I can't guarantee you on what day I will upload the questions. But your job is to randomly check the Moodle. If there is a new question, you can try to apply. But I'll mention if there are new questions are added, I'll post in your CR group that new questions are updated. So from my side, that I will do minimum. So does this course contain data structures in Java? Uh, yes, Ankit. Data structure basically how to use stack, queues, array list. There is a hash set, hash map. Those concepts are there. So we will just touch upon those topics, but we won't do real time, advanced problem solving in that, because you have a actual training going on based on DSA only. So to clear that exam, I already told you, to clear the product batch exams, you just need to be very good in terms of strings, arrays, basics is more than enough, right? So, but we will touch upon the data structures, or how to create a stack queue manually and using inbuilt libraries. So there is a generic stack generic queue concept is there. So that also we will touch upon. So it's a good question. I will definitely touch upon the data structure concepts also. Yeah. So I think we have 5 more minutes time. So just in this short time, I just want to talk about brute force and optimization. We will solve real-time problem. That means again, yeah. Somebody asked me about date and time, right? Yes. Quickly, we will go through that date and time problems. So date and time, you need not to worry much, because you may not get any question based on that. But I just want you guys to know the library, because it's an important library. In future, you might need it for your project purpose, or if you're developing any mini project, you might want to. Now, first 10 questions. Today is the last date. Today is the last date for first 10 questions. Okay. So 10 questions are already there. So I've added 10 questions. Today you have to complete them. But what is the point is, even though if you are not able to complete the questions in Moodle based on the time limit, you can still see the question, you can still see the test cases, but you can try it doing in any online compiler. The advantage of doing it in Moodle is you will be able to know what are the hidden test cases. So that's why I'm putting the deadline. So it will help those people who wants to again become perfect in terms of basics. If you ignore the deadline dates, you will miss those hidden test cases. You will not know, okay, these are the different ways sir has given the test case. So that clarity you won't get. So that's why if you do Moodle programs, you will know how I am giving the different test cases, how to think about solving all the possible test cases. Even in the product batch exam, people are not able to understand what is a test case, because they're not even sharing the test cases, right? But I will be giving you at least out of five, all four test cases are visible. Only one I'll keep hidden, but remaining all are visible generally. So please understand that part for lateral entry students. Lateral entry students, we will do that. First, let you guys complete the C language. Then you come and meet me personally. I will tell you what is the procedure you guys need to follow. Okay. Yeah, it is disabled. because as I told you, in Moodle, you should not be able to copy paste. You can use VS Code, you can do whatever you want in the editor. But if you still want to do the same thing in Moodle, in exams, what you will do? That time again, you will depend upon that only. So you are learning, you can do however you want to. But when you apply, attend the exam, that time no editor in any company exams will enable the copy paste, not only in Moodle. So that's why in Moodle also I have done so that you understand the importance of it. Okay. Right. So what is this question? Write a Java program to get the day of the first day and last day of the month based on the input, month and year. So what you need to enter, enter the month, enter the year, right? Then print the days on the each separate line. So I also gave the hint. You have to explore java.time.star package to get the desired result. So only when you explore this package, you will be able to understand how to solve this question. Okay, since many don't know this, I'll explain this question so that remaining you can try. So what is that library you have to use is java.time.star. So obviously you have to read month and year. Then these are all inbuilt library files available in the time.star package. So what is the library file? Year month dot off, right? Year month dot off, Y capital, M capital. So this year month dot off accepts two parameters. Both of them are integers. So one is year I'm passing, another is month I'm passing. Then this particular library file will create the instances of this year and month. Then what I want to extract is I want to extract the first day and last day, right? So based on the extracted object. So ym dot at day of one. So what I'm trying to look for, first day and last day of each month, right? So what is the first day and last day of each month? So obviously the at day you have to pass the one as the parameter. Why one? Because I am looking for first day. Suppose if you are looking for 10th day, you can pass 10 onto it, right? Then get day of the week. So what I want, I don't want the number. I want to know the name of the day. So this is again inbuilt file, inbuilt library file, get day of the week dot name. So this will fetch the date and this will convert the date into name, right? This is about day. Then similarly, last day, how will you extract the last day? There is an inbuilt library again, dot at end of the month. Then again, get day of the week. So first day, then last day. So to extract first day, you have to use at day. To extract last day, you have to use at end of month, right? So this is a simple library file you should be able to learn. Again, so there is no shortcut for it because these are the library files you have to use at any cost. Because what if the year is something like 1930? So there is no logic to apply for 1930, right? So you have to use the inbuilt packages to get this kind of desired results, right? So apart from this, there is one more library file, right? So there is something called as local date. So when I type local, you will get this names. So for example, I will use local date, right? So this is also part of your time library, time dot local date. So local date L equal to, then it's a lot of functions are there. Local date dot max, min, right? So what does each of them do? You can explore. So let me first create the object. So I will use this one. What is this? Local date dot of int year, int month, int day of month. So it is accepting how many parameters? Three parameters. Local date of, right? What does it accept? Month, right? See here. First you need to enter the year, then month, then day of the month. So I'll enter year, for example, 2021. Then for example, 12, that is the month. Then 1. This is my program. So local date L equal to local date dot off. So it is basically creating the instance. So local date is an immutable date time object that represents a date often used as a year, month, day. Basically, I've created the date here using this local date dot off. Okay. Then there are a lot of operations you can do. Then there is something called as period, right? So period, you can use period object. You can create period p equal to, see when I am again typing, there is a lot of inbuilt library files are there. So see here, period dot in between. So let's suppose I want to use this one. I'll select this one. Okay. Now what I want to do is, what is my object I created local date L? So that I will pass. So what does it accept this between? It accepts two parameters, start date and end date. Okay. So start date and end date. So suppose I'll mention the start date as L. That means I'm telling that this is my start date, L comma. Then end date, what is the end date I want to give? End date exclusive. Suppose end date I will give for today. What is absolutely for the today's date? For example, 15/12/2003. So how will you mention today's date? Obviously, you can't write 15/12/2003. You have to mention, right, the exact value. So there is again, to mention the exact value, lot of inbuilt options are there. Can you see local date dot num here? So just highlight on that. So what does it return? Obtains the current date from the system clock. In whichever the laptop your particular date function is written, it extracts the date from that particular system clock. That means it will extract this date. So you need not write 15/12/23 like that. Okay. So now what we are trying to do is, we are trying to calculate the period between this date and today's date, right? So for example, int months equal to, what I want to do is, I will use the p object. Can you see the inbuilt library files that I am able to see? What I want to fetch is, I want to fetch the months. So p dot get months is suggested. So I'll just select that. Okay. Then I'll try to print months difference like this. Just trying to display the months difference. Okay. Then this object I am passing. So let us see the output, what you are getting. And what we are getting, months difference, p dot get month. Let me select this. This has to work actually. Let me select something else. P dot get days. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you see what is the output I'm getting? 14. So I've given the year as 2023, month as 12, date as 1. Now I'm trying to fetch number of days between this and current date. So obviously today's date is how much? 15. So 15 minus 1 is how much? 14. So I'm getting 14 as the answer. But this should have worked for 2021 also. It is not. Basically, I want to fetch from this date. So just like this, you can just learn 2021, right? So it is not considered in 2021 basically. 5 years. It should give the months also. I want months also. Okay, here I have to change now. Get months. Just 2 minutes. So here days different. I want to get a, okay. Am I using the library file correctly? Yes. Is the mistake in my code? You have to identify. By default, sir, the month you mentioned in parameter is 12 and present month is 12. So basically difference. Okay. So let me mention it as 1. Okay. Fine. See, so you are able to recognize the error. Suppose if I give get years, understood, understood. Thank you. So p dot get years. Now you see what I'm getting, not day difference. This is year difference, right? Years difference. Okay. So basically how these functions are working is they are only taking the mentioned parameter, correct? So if you're comparing years, it is only comparing years. If you're mentioning the month, it is only mentioning the month. So number of months it is mentioned, comparing basically. So month difference, days different. So in that way, you can use these library files. Then there is another important, so could you tell the name of the application you use for programming? IntelliJ. IntelliJ. Already in the first session, I explained how to install and work on this. Okay. So there is a calendar library also, which you can use it, right? Suppose so calendar dot get instance. Basically, you have to create the instance object of calendar. Suppose if I want to print current date, time, right? So it is very important to learn these libraries. System dot out dot. So what I want to use is I want to use format. Okay. There are a lot of inbuilt functions are there which you need to learn. Percentage t, then percentage t and y, capital Y or small y, it is anything it is slash n. Then I'll write c comma c comma c. It's a simple thing to remember. It's not much difficult. What is missing here? Percentage is missing. What I'm getting here, I'm getting current date actually, right? So these are the format specifier for the calendar instance, percentage TB, TE, TY. So B indicates the month, E indicates the day, Y indicates the year. Suppose if I give small b, observe what is happening. So if I give small b, what is happening? You are getting that month in short name, right? December is converted to DEC. So similarly, if I give small y, so what I'm getting, instead of 2023, I'm getting 23 only. So this is a shortcut you can use, but don't do that for the day. Suppose if you give capital A, it won't work, right? So you'll get the error. So you should know what is allowed, what is not allowed, right? So percentage TB, TE, TY. These are the format specifiers for date and what about time? So similarly, we have for time also. So what the time? I think just I think it is there. TL percentage. TP. But you understood the common format, right? The instance is same for all of them. So instance is same for all of them. C, C, C we are writing, right? So you need not to give separate object for date, separate object for month and year and day. So for all of them, you can give the whatever the object you have created. C only you can give. So percentage T M, percentage TL, and percentage TP. So something like this is it. I don't remember exactly. You can just explore the format specifier. What are the format specifiers for what we are looking for? Calendar, right? Yeah, dot format. Okay, okay. See, correct. So if you want to print these objects, you should use the dot format. So your println won't work with us. What is so don't get confused here. What it is printing? 12:8. So actually, first what I should print? I should print the hour and then I should print the minutes, right? So this is for first one is for what? First one is for minute actually. So I should replace them here. Then what I want hour, minute, and AM, PM. Understood now? So what is the current time? 8:12 p.m. So I'm getting 8:12 p.m. So these are the format specifiers: percentage TL, percentage TL, percentage TP. So P means it is a for time format. Suppose if I give capital P, so see what is happening if I give the capital P. Okay, won't support. Mhm. Okay, fine. So capital P won't work. So we have another method for this actually. So for example, what I want, sometimes have you seen in some sites or some applications like in your watch, you will see the 24-hour format. 24-hour format in Java. You can type like that in Google. You'll get to know what are the 24-hour format specifiers, right? So what is the syntax you have to use? Capital H you have to use. Okay, so capital H. So here you can use capital H, percentage TH, then percentage TM. This I don't want because I want to display capital format. So firstly, I want to print a new line slash n. So now what I'm getting 2014. So let us just put it exactly in terms of time format so that you get the clarity. So I've just added colon in between. Understood? So this is the today's date, current time in 12-hour format, current time in 24-hour format. So these library files generally we need to use when we do the real-time projects because most of the sites have the date and time. They work based on the current date and time. That's why this becomes very important for future point of view. Yeah, I think it is there, but not explored. Just it's a good suggestion. I have not actually explored. If I get to know in next session, I will tell you. But you can learn it how to print each second using calendar. So it will be there. Definitely, it will be there because we see that right in real time. There is definitely you will have that option actually. So just before I wonder, I just saw just now local time, right? Yeah, yeah. Just try to create local time instance. We'll see whether it is possible or local time, right? So you can see a lot of library files are there. Local time dot midnight noon, all that you can use. Okay. Let me print this. Maybe you will get the time in terms of seconds. I don't know. Fine. Okay. Okay. Fine. Are you getting here? Yeah. So it is displaying exactly with seconds. So this is the uh, calendar instance. This is the local time instance. So previously what we saw is local date instance. So I just got you know remember this particular library. So local time library you can use. So it displays along with the seconds also. And again, there are ways to only print seconds. It is printing milliseconds, right? So if people further explore how to display only seconds, it is too accurate. So I don't want to exactly print nanoseconds. I want to just print the seconds. So that also you can do. You just need to know the syntaxes. So it's not easy to remember these library files. We need to explore and use it as and when required. Got it? So based on this, I think what is the question I added? Already explained, right, in Moodle. So here we are finding the first and last day. Is there any other question? Yeah, this you can try. Get the count of the day of the year. So here what I'm doing is I'm entering the input as month, whatever. If it is 01 also it should work. If it is 1 also it should work. So 1/12/2023. So basically in that particular year, I want to check what is the count number of that particular date. So 1/12/2023 is 335th day. Similarly, 5/1/2023 is day count of the year for 2023. Because it is a Jan month, right? So it is a fifth day. And this 2024 is a leap year. So that's why we're getting the output as 366 because 31/12/2024 is a leap year. So leap years, you know that leap year has 366 days. Normally a 365, leap year 366. So try to do this question. Did anyone solve? Yeah, so many have already solved it. Let me open it. So yeah, what something very complicated code. So they have used local date and object. So whatever date you are entering, then they're comparing with 1/1 with the current date, right? So whatever year with 1/1. I don't know. I have to understand this logic. I think this is a much simpler one. So what your friend has done here is created the local date instance, then d dot get day of the year, right? So if you get the day of the year, simple. This is a very simple question. So if you just extract get day of the year, you will get that particular day count. Okay, right? So not much like in terms of your product batch exam and your study purpose. It is not much needed as of now, but you should have an idea about how to use them, how to use date and time. So it comes under basics of Java, so that I just wanted you guys to learn it. Not compulsorily important about you know as if it is required immediately. Not nothing like that, but you should know how to use this date and time object. Okay. So I don't want to add more question on that. Just one or two I've added. So we'll see in the next session. Especially next session, I'll give you one question. So let us directly involve in problem solving. So just 2 minutes I'll take. I think we have crossed time. Okay. What I'll try to do from now on is from the next session onwards is, so this today you covered all the basics, right? So I'll take not simple, I'll take few problems. Then we will try to see what is the normal approach and we'll try to see what could be the better approach. So we'll try to solve the real-time problems in every session based on the topics. Suppose object-oriented is there. Based on the object-oriented programming, we'll try to solve few programs. Then based on the 2D array, we'll try to solve few problems, right? So in every session, I'll try to take one program and explain that logic. how it is normal approach, what is a better approach. So in that way, it will help you to understand the optimization techniques. So today I just explained the basics again, all the string functions and all those things. But please understand, if you attend the sessions from next time onwards, you will be able to understand the optimization techniques and how to think about those techniques, understand the logics in a better way. Okay. So next session, we will try to cover the remaining topics, what are pending for the day. So I wanted to cover 2D array because of the time limit. So 2D array and hooks we will start in the next session. Okay, we will try to solve few problems based on 2D array, then hooks questions. I will be talking about in the next session. Okay, so have a good weekend and keep learning. So I'm ending the session. See you.